It's not the big purchases that are keeping you broke. It's the small ones. The $5. The $10. It doesn't matter. Because no one ruins their finances overnight. It doesn't happen in one decision. No one wakes up and suddenly loses control. It happens quietly. Daily. Repeatedly. A coffee here. A subscription there. A quick order because you're tired. A small upgrade because you deserve it. Individually, they feel harmless. Too small to track. Too small to question. Too small to fix. And that's exactly why they matter. Because anything you don't question eventually becomes normal. And anything that becomes normal becomes automatic. And anything automatic happens without control. That's how money disappears. It's not loudly, not dramatically, but silently. And the worst part, you don't even notice it happening. It doesn't feel like losing money. It feels like living your normal life. That's what makes it dangerous. Because if something feels normal, you don't try to fix it. Most people think saving money means cutting big expenses, making more income, or waiting for a better opportunity. They think, if I just earn more, everything will fix itself. But that belief is what keeps them stuck. Because income doesn't fix behavior. It amplifies it. If you don't control your spending at $1,000, you won't control it at $5,000. If you ignore small leaks now, you'll ignore bigger ones later. So the real problem is not your income. It's your awareness. It's the things you've normalized. The habits you don't question anymore. The patterns that feel harmless. The small decisions that feel invisible, but quietly shape your entire financial life. You don't notice them because they don't feel like mistakes. They feel like routine. And routine is powerful because it runs your life without asking for permission. So in this video, we're breaking down the $10 mistakes that seem small, but are silently draining your money. It's not loudly, not dramatically, but consistently. And consistency is what creates results, good or bad. Mistake 1: convenience spending. You're not paying for the product. You're paying for ease. Food delivery, ride-hailing, express checkout, last-minute purchases. You tell yourself, it's just $10 extra. And in that moment, you're right. It is just $10. But the problem is not the amount. It's the habit. Convenience removes friction. And friction is what protects your money. When something is hard, you think twice. When something is easy, you act instantly. And that instant action usually costs you. The more you choose convenience, the less you tolerate effort. Cooking feels like stress. Planning feels unnecessary. Waiting feels frustrating. So you choose convenience again. And again. And again. Until it becomes your default. And once it becomes your default, you stop questioning it. That $10 becomes daily. That daily becomes monthly. That monthly becomes thousands. And it all started with something that felt small. Mistake 2: forgotten subscriptions. This one is dangerous because it's invisible. Streaming platforms, apps, memberships, auto-renewals. $5 here, $10 there. It doesn't feel like spending because you're not actively choosing it. You don't open your wallet. You don't press buy. It just happens. And when something happens automatically, your brain stops tracking it, which means you disconnect from the cost. You stop asking, do I still need this? And once that question disappears, so does your control. You end up paying for things you don't use, things you forgot about, things that add no value. Money leaving without a decision. And when money leaves without awareness, it leaves faster. Mistake 3, it's on sale logic. You didn't save money. You spent it. This is one of the most common traps. You see a discount, and your brain reacts instantly. Good deal. Smart choice. Opportunity. But hear the truth. A discount only matters if you were already going to buy it. If not, it's just spending in disguise. But your brain doesn't see it that way. It focuses on what you're saving, not what you're spending. So you justify it. It's cheaper now. I might need it later. It would be more expensive later. But might need is not a plan. And later rarely comes. So the item sits unused, unnecessary, and your money gone quietly. Mistake 4, upgrade mentality. Your phone works. Your clothes are fine. Your setup is okay. Nothing is broken. Nothing is urgent. But the moment something new appears, your current version feels worse. Not because it changed, but because your perception did. Comparison creates dissatisfaction. And dissatisfaction creates spending. You start noticing what you lack. You focus on what you don't have. And suddenly, enough is no longer enough. So you upgrade. Not because you need to, but because you feel like you should. Again and again. Small upgrades. Big long-term cost. Because the more you upgrade, the higher your baseline becomes. And once your baseline rises, going back feels like loss. Mistake 5, daily, treat yourself. This one feels justified. You worked hard. You deserve it. It's just today. And sometimes, that's true. But the problem is not the reward. It's the repetition. Because today happens every day. And what starts as occasional becomes expected. You stop seeing it as a treat and start seeing it as normal. Now it's no longer a reward. It's part of your lifestyle. And lifestyles are expensive when built on daily spending. Mistake 6, lazy DCISINS. You choose the easiest option, not the best one. Ordering instead of cooking. Taking a ride instead of planning. Buying instead of waiting. Each decision feels small. It saves time. It saves effort. It removes discomfort. But it costs money. And when repeated, it becomes expensive. Because you're trading money for convenience, without realizing how often you're doing it. Mistake 7, not tracking small spending. Big expenses are obvious. You feel them. You plan for them. But small spending, you ignore it. And that's why it's dangerous. Because small spending is frequent. And frequency multiplies impact. If you don't track it, you don't see it. If you don't see it, you can't control it. And what you don't control controls you. Mistake 8, emotional spending. Stress, boredom, frustration, loneliness. You don't always spend because you need something. You spend because you feel something. And in that moment, spending feels like relief. It feels like control. It feels like reward. But the feeling fades. And the cost remains. That's the trap. Temporary relief. Permanent expense. Here's the truth most people don't realize. It's not about being cheap. It's about being aware. Because once you see the pattern, you can break it. You don't need to cut everything. You don't need to remove enjoyment. You just need to pause. Notice the decision. And ask, do I actually need this? Or am I just used to doing this? And the most powerful question, would I still buy this if I had to wait 24 hours? Because waiting creates clarity. And clarity protects your money. The difference between people who build wealth and those who stay stuck isn't always income. It's awareness. One group spends unconsciously. The other spends intentionally. One reacts. The other decides. And over time, that difference becomes everything. Because money doesn't disappear randomly. It follows your habits. And your habits follow your awareness. No one goes broke from one big mistake. They go broke from small ones. Repeated daily. Small leaks. Silent habits. Invisible patterns. So if you want to change your financial life, don't start with big moves. Start with small awareness. Notice the $5. Question the $10. Because the money you ignore is the money you lose. And the $10 you ignore today is the thousands you lose tomorrow. If you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe.